Hi, I'm Michelle Connolly and welcome to Profile Tree TV. I'm so excited today to have Aaron in from B4B. Aaron was in before, so welcome again, but I know you've loads of new services and exciting innovations that you guys have been working on, so welcome again. But maybe you do want to just give us a wee insight into your background just for people that maybe haven't seen the previous video, if that's all right.
Yeah, of course. So B4B, Telecom and Technologies Telecoms and Technology Company. Been around since 2010, and we do everything, a complete managed service provider. So everything from your mobile phone to your broadband, to your home office setup, remote workers, right down to IoT devices, everything around sensors in a manufacturing facility, through to Wi-Fi analytics, what we're going to talk about today, and everything in between. So it's a big mixed bag of products, but the idea is that we find the perfect solution for each business, regardless of what your needs are.
Yeah, and that's so important because I think in today's day and age, just with current situations and how people are working practices have really changed, and actually being able to go to a company like yourselves and say, look, this is my issue, and you actually go find the answer is so important.
And I think that one of the biggest problems in today is getting different devices and different platforms and different technologies to work together. So when you have different providers for different bits and pieces, you kind of sometimes get a bit of a, oh, that's not actually us, you need to go and talk to them. And then you're stuck in the middle as the business owner trying to go, right, so I've got to communicate between, you're telling me this and I've got to go and tell them that. We just sit in the middle and translate, for want of a better word, between all the different products and services to give you that, as you said, it works. And you forget about it. That's the idea.
So obviously working practices have changed. So you guys have been frantically working in the background to think, how do we meet these new blended environments, office, working from home. So I know you have some really exciting new services that you're able to offer and really, I suppose, help people navigate this ever-changing situation that we're in. So do you want to maybe tell us or talk through some of those services that you have in offer?
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, from a technology perspective, nothing has changed. The technology that people need now has been around for 10 years. The difference has been the psychological change. So in terms of, even we talk about working from home, the stuff's all been there to be able to work remotely, or just a disparate workforce for a long, long time. It's been the want that has been lacking, and suddenly that's exploded. And in particular, where in hospitality and retail environments who are really struggling now, the technology's been there for a long time, and we've been rolling it out for quite some time. But all of a sudden now, it's just become urgent. Before people were thinking, oh, that'd be lovely to be able to do, whereas now it's and can we get this installed next week? And the big thing is around the Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi analytics is the term, or intelligent Wi-Fi is sometimes how it's known. And the big thing with it really is Wi-Fi for a lot of places has always been a utility. It's something you have to have, because if you're a coffee shop or you're a pub or a shopping centre, people just expect you to have Wi-Fi. So it's a running cost. You have your electricity, your gas, your whatever, and your broadband and your Wi-Fi. And a lot of more innovative hospitality and retail businesses have changed that conversation on what can we get back out of it? How can we turn this into an asset for our business? And it's a software solution. So again, let's just go back to what we said at the start. We sit in the middle of the broadband, the infrastructure to provide the Wi-Fi, and the software platform. And there's a number of different platforms that work. It's about sitting understanding what you want to get out of it and what's going to help build your business, and pointing to this platform or this one or this one. And then we bring in and do the training and get it set up and manage that ongoing. So rather than going to the software provider and going, oh, there's a problem on our platform, and then going, oh no, it's not actually a hardware problem, and then you're going to them. We sit there and do it all. And the stuff you can do with it is just, it's next level. It's understanding and taking all the guesswork out of your business. So a big drive of the last probably 10 years across industries has been in business analytics. And to be fair, it's been going back to the likes of Henry Ford type ideas in production line, but it's really taken over businesses about analytics and understanding all the variables that affect your bottom line profit. And this does exactly that, but it does it on your customers. So you're able to monitor all of the demographic information about your customers. So anything that Facebook knows about them, you can now know about them. So age, gender, profession, where they live, where they work, all of that, which is great. So that's building up your CRM, and it's all GDPR compliant. So you have the permission to remarket back through them and do all of that, which is amazing in its own right, but it also monitors all the behavioural stuff. So it's when do they come into the venue, how long do they stay for, how many times a week do they walk past your front door but not actually come in, and then overlaying that with all the demographic information. So you're able to run, and a lot of business owners, and I've been just as guilty of it, when I ran pubs for years. And when I first saw this Wi-Fi platform, I was like, oh, I wish I'd had that when I was running a pub. This would have been amazing. Because the big thing was, when I was there myself, when I was behind the bar, I knew who was coming in. I knew they were getting that wee touch, and not touch, not touch, but touch off, chat or hi, how you doing, personal stuff, oh, Michelle, how are you? How's the kids? And is Olivia's birthday coming up soon? And I must get you in, you do your birthday party. And those wee things are what drive a hospitality business. But when I wasn't there myself, it wasn't quite the same experience for the customer. And once you have more than one site, you can't deliver that. You cannot be the best will in the world. You cannot do it. So what it does is takes about 90% of that and puts it into your Wi-Fi. We talk, it's having Ted Danson from Cheers in your Wi-Fi system. And that's it. It's about creating those little personal things. So it's not just sending out a generic blast email. Hey, it's Tuesday. Get £5 off a bowl of chicken wings. It's personalised based on who the person is, how often they visited your venue, what they like. So you're able to identify everybody who comes in, not just sports fans, not just football fans, but look at everybody who comes in here normally whenever Man United are playing. And then set it up, automated in the background. So the day before every Man United match, they get a wee text message to them personally. Hey, Aaron, it's Michelle here from whatever venue it is. Just to let you know, I know United are playing tomorrow night. But do you know we offer? Why don't you down and say hello? And it's a personalised thing, bringing you back in. And that can be a text message, it can be an email, it can be a WhatsApp, depending on what the customer wants. And it's that constant, ongoing engagement that makes a difference between your pub and the one down the road, or your coffee shop and the one down the road, and really make it authentic for the person. And stuff like that, I wish I had it whenever I was running a pub, So yeah.
And as you say, marketing dream.
Yeah.
So, because I'm thinking, obviously, with marketing head on me, how, again, back to everybody is bombarded with adverts and emails and everything else around, as you say, very generic. We've got 10% off, we've got, a special theme night, or, especially in hospitality and, leisure industry, there's a lot of that already going on. But actually, as you say, that personalization, that individual, that making people feel special is so important in marketing, especially nowadays, because everybody is bombarded with email blasts and everything else. And I'm thinking in terms of return on investment. So yes, you have the software and you have the setup fee and getting it all set up, but actually being able to get a return on that investment and actually have your Wi-Fi not working for you just because people want to go on the internet, but actually giving you data that is so precious that you can really start to retarget very, very in a very tight niche those people. I mean, are you experiencing, as I say, restaurants, hotels, getting that return on investment from it?
Absolutely. I mean, and because it does so much, it's about identifying what the drivers are for each business. So with one customer who signed up for this, and we threw all the whole thing, and Jenny, you're talking about 30 minutes to get a quick whiz bang through what you can do, and we got to the very end, and we just weren't quite getting that. Yeah. And what it was at the very end for them was, you set it up very simply that every time someone leaves the venue, they get a wee pinged out message, how was your visit? And it's 1 to 5 stars. Comment cards, effectively. I'm like, yes, we want it for that. I was going, what? What was the, And it was because, now again, managing multiple sites, they don't get the customer feedback. And there's always that concern as a business owner, I get the good comment cards and the bad ones go in the bin. Or in today's age, the customer's not happy, it goes on TripAdvisor or Facebook review or Google review. So for them, it was just their driver was that. And then so I get a real-time feedback from every customer in every single venue right now directly to me. I'm like, yeah. And that for them, the investment is worth it just for that. For other customers, it's about, so obviously you guys would do, when you're setting up campaigns, when you're setting up adverts for online selling businesses, it's very, very easy to monitor the return on investment. So I spent this and I got this number of sales directly off that advert. But how do you do that if your customers buy face-to-face? So if you run a Facebook campaign for a pub or a restaurant or a high street shop, not online, you can't really tell how effective it's been. Yes, you can see overall sales have gone up, but you can't track that to that advert worked really well, that one didn't work quite as well. So you can't do your A/B testing and all the stuff you guys do. Whereas with this you can, because you can track that user, what they've seen of the campaign, and if they've come back into the venue off the back of it, or they've been to the venue for the first time off the back of it. So it's not just the return on investment for the system itself, remarketing. It's also being able to monitor the return on investment for your all your digital marketing. What effect does it have, and how does it come back in?
And data is so powerful, and especially in a lot of sectors, the sectors that you're talking about, and other sectors, it's so hard to get that cash data almost, isn't it? It's fine, you can get the website hits and you can get all of the those sorts of things, but it's that face-to-face businesses where actually people do pay in cash or pay by card, but they appear and you don't know where they have appeared from. And I'm thinking the other flip of it as well in terms of the customers. So, for example, you're saying about the gent who wanted to get the reviews. You always get the people that are such good intentions that they're going to do the review and they've had a really good experience and they go away on a high, but the time they get home and then they get the kids to bed and everything else happens, they never give that review. Actually making the process very seamless for your customers to encourage them to be able to give that data, I think is very, very important as well.
And we can actually take it a step further. And again, the idea for this is it's all automated. So you set it all up at the start and get it done right, and then it's not ongoing work for your team or for yourself. But you can set it up so you ping them out a review. How was your visit? Not everyone's going to reply to it, and that's fine. But the ones who do, if they give, say you set it up, out of 10 stars, anything that's 9 or 10, you automate it straight away. Send them a reply going, guys, that's great. Thanks very much. Would you mind putting a review up on whatever your platform of choice is? Here's the link. And again, we work with some other partners. We can even pre-populate say it's Google review you're wanting to do, pre-populate with what they've said. So it's really simple for the customer to just go submit and make it easy. Whereas the ones that are 8 or below, that comes back to you. You've got a chance to follow up on it. The customer feels they've told you, so they're less likely to go and tell somebody else. But if you've actioned it, that negative review turns into a customer who thinks, do you know what? They really care. That was a bad experience, but they've made it right. And I know from my own experience running pubs, that's usually more valuable than a good experience to begin with. In terms of that, it's just making people feel valued in a way that, and again, you wouldn't necessarily know that because they've just left. And your staff might not even know they had a bad experience, because a lot of people here are very forthright and will happily tell you when they've had a bad experience, but there's a lot of people who just won't. They'll just not come back again. And you'll never know why. You'll never understand why. But the more data we can gather, the more we can understand everything. And it falls into some operational data as well. So you're able to look at any time at any one of your sites, anywhere in the world, and see exactly how many people are on site right now, which is great. But you can also look at all the data over time and start to understand, why do we have 3 staff on a Wednesday lunchtime? So it's usually either because we've always had 3 staff on a lunchtime, that's the way we staff lunchtimes, or maybe it's a bit more evolved and it's going, well, that's based on how much money we lift every Wednesday, that's how many staff we can afford. But actually then you're looking at going, well, it's not the amount of money that depends how many staff we need, it's the number of customers. So you can do your staffing levels properly, but you can also then look and go with, well, what's the spend per head in each single hour, or not even half hour, 10-minute period of any given day, and again, looking back historically. So you can start looking and going with, so the average spend per head on a Wednesday is much higher than the average spend per head on a Tuesday. So again, going back to digital marketing, we'll take that to profile tree and going, that's the sort of audience we want to market to. And then through the platform, your marketing team can take all that information, all the Facebook or Google or whatever data we have, and build that as an audience to target to, rather than targeting the people who you think you might like to have in your venue, you can go, well, these are the people who spend money. But more than that, they're the most profitable customers. So focus our marketing budget on them rather than the people who come in and buy a cup of coffee. Focus on the ones who come in and buy a ribeye steak.
Yeah.
And that's or whatever your most profitable line is.
So actually customers data, back to, I'm thinking just the importance with, should I dare say the word COVID, and profitability. Of course, cafes, restaurant bars have had to obviously decrease the capacity that they can hold. So back to what you're saying about the most profitable customers and targeting them, is this something that the analytics can help with?
Yes, absolutely. So again, up until that, if you can tie in your EPOS system and you can look at most EPOS systems, how much money is going into the till in any given hour. And that's quite good for trying to forecast and all that. But the number of people you had in your venue before has decreased. The number of tables, if you're a restaurant, even from retail perspective, the number of people you could fit in your shop because you have to bring in one-way systems and all of that. So the key thing to try to drive down to is what's your spend per head and increasing the spend per head because you've only got a fixed number of people. So the way to do that is to first of all understand exactly how many people are in your venue at any one time. And then you can look at them in each time slot, look at the spend per head, and then identify the common denominator. So when you look at where every hour where your spend's higher per head and go, what does that audience look like? And focus your marketing perspective from you guys directly onto them. So rather than going, I would love my pub to be full of, 20 and 30-year-old professionals, because that's when you're, or 50 and 60-year-olds, whatever it is. You go, well, actually, from a business perspective, take the ego out of it. The people you want in your venue are these, and it's cold, hard facts. There's no ego, there's no assumption, it's data. And you can look at that. That might be one demographic for this venue, but one of the other venues, the biggest spend per head is actually a completely different demographic. And you can pull out those audiences and really hope, again, we're getting your best return on investment. Where you advertise, who you market to, who do you really want to have in? And also a big thing with the COVID era, hospitality has been hammered, and we know that, and restrictions coming in potentially now with earlier closing times and things like that. The most profitable hours are being one of the ones that are being cut. So it's about looking at and going, how do I focus that to get the most popular people in, but also how do I make people feel safe to come into a venue? We've spent whatever period of time it was in lockdown, drinking at home, eating at home. We've all got to be better chefs.
Well, some of us.
So yes, yeah. And we can make cocktails at home and we can do all that sort of stuff. So it's harder to get people. It's been an ongoing problem in hospitality for a long time of people drinking at home more and trying to get them into the venue, and you're creating that experience. And that's how you drive people in. Service and experience is the key drivers. But now you have a third one, which is making people feel safe. It's not about how safe they actually are, it's psychological. So you can do a number of things through this. So one is your track and trace, rather than being slips of paper, it's through the Wi-Fi. It's a pop-up on your screen. And so that's great from one perspective in that you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to have a member of staff recording it. You don't have to worry about a member of staff accessing that data. And we've all heard horror stories of, bartenders reaching out to members of the opposite sex with text messages because they've seen, and doing that sort of carry on. You don't have to worry about the data being accidentally destroyed. Someone spills a pint glass on it, and you don't have to worry about having to go through and do it. So if you get a positive test, you've got to ream through all these scraps of paper, put them onto a spreadsheet, send it off to the NHS, and then contact them all. It's all done automatically. Pop a button. So, that person was in between 10:03 and 10:45 because we can see when they came in, when they left, only notifying the people who were there at the exact same time with one touch of a button, and we liaise with NHS. So that creates, as well as like a psychological thing for people where they feel safer. And you see on Twitter, you see on Facebook a lot in a minute, people are out for dinner or out in a shop or out somewhere and they're going, the way they handled the COVID stuff was brilliant. I felt really relaxed. Or the opposite, and it wasn't done the right way. And it's about bringing those people back in, but also you can start to identify, you do your own COVID risk assessment as a business, a COVID secure environment, and you go, we're comfortable with this many people in this area, this many people in that area, this many people in the other area. So again, it can all be automated to set up and raise an alert. So look, you're getting close to your capacity upstairs, your COVID capacity where you feel comfortable with, so you can start to take action rather than having somebody standing on the stairs with a clicker, which is a massive cost, a member of staff. It's all done through the Wi-Fi. And again, even within, it's about monitoring, run NPS or Net Promoter Score surveys effectively on how safe people feel. So you're able to monitor that in real time, monitor that psychological impact. And again, they won't necessarily tell you. They'll just not come back, or they'll tell Twitter, or they'll tell Facebook, or tell Google. But you're able to continually monitor that and just be surveys in the background. How do you feel? And see how different actions you take affect how. It's not about how safe they actually are, because obviously any venue is being responsible, but it's about making sure that people feel that you're being responsible and monitoring how you're moving this table to here, or putting a screen up there, or doing that, how it in fact impacts people's how safe they feel, and therefore how long they'll stay in your venue and how often they'll come back to your venue.
Which again, I'm just thinking, even just there's so many restrictions and things are changing so quickly, and the rules change nearly every day. Actually having that automated system that you can just type in different restrictions, different numbers on this group, different things there. Actually, for a business owner, I can see it being an amazingly fantastic system that actually takes all that stress out of that, because immediately you have the data there to say, well, you actually can only have 10 people in that area or any given time, or actually, no, the restrictions have changed, now it's only 8 people, but you're not having to sit and calculate that out and work it and manage space and measure stuff, and that can actually do all that for you. So I can imagine as a business owner, it's a very seamless.
I can't even imagine the feeling you would get when you get that phone call to say, I had a positive test and I was in your venue on Saturday night, and where you even start to take this stack of paper and translate that into something where you can action it, and how many staff hours. And it's always going to be the manager. It's never going to be the minimum wage staff member. It's going to be the one who you need to run the venue that's having to take that time out to do it, or you yourself as business owner. Whereas it's so simple then. You literally just press a button on the platform and go, this is the person. It was Michelle. Oh, okay, yeah, we can see very clearly when she was in, when she left, pull out that portion of people and notify them with one button, and send all that information directly to NHS Track and Trace. And that's it. 5 minutes and you're done, as opposed to the panic and the stress and the worrying about it, and taking the time away from doing what you do, and what you do well. All this stuff with COVID, this is all just add-ons to the system, and that's the key bit. So that's the key bit. It's not what the system is built for. It's not something we've thrown together in the last couple of months to kind of capitalize on this. It's the Wi-Fi analytics, and the intelligent Wi-Fi has been going for a long time. It's just because we already have this information through the system, we can adapt to do something with it. So, and it's always being adapted and changed and added to. So as something new comes along, we'll build it into it. We're not charging customers any extra now to have the COVID stuff. That's just added value.
Yeah, and as you say, because primarily it is clearly for marketing and management of remarketing, I suppose, but actually having these added extras just to make your life that little bit easier is a massive pull I can see in terms of being a business owner or having multiple sites. And I think that's key. It's that managing multiple sites and making sure that everybody is compliant and doing the same sort of stuff, and actually recognizing those different audiences, because you touched on that. And I think that's really a big key part of marketing, is that, back to what you were saying, you start a business and you think, my target audience is going to be 20, 30-year-olds, it's going to be a really trendy venue, it's going to be this or it's going to be that. And then that's maybe not what real life reflection is. But because you've got that mindset and you think that, you're maybe targeting the wrong audiences, or marketing to the wrong audiences and not getting that return on your investment for your marketing spend. So actually having that data is so powerful. It's so powerful.
Another aspect of the multi-site thing as well is, I've one customer who's lots of different sites. Some are in town centres, some of them are suburbs, some of them are coffee shops, some of them are restaurants, some of them are bars, whatever. And they're able to identify, because it's one system across all their sites, and going, well, that person drinks in our pub when they're at home at the weekends, but they walk past our coffee shop every day on the way to and from work. So we can send them some stuff. By the way, do you know it's personalised. It's Aaron here from X Pub. Do you know we also run the wee coffee shop, whatever it is, and we do these on lunchtime offers.
Yeah.
Or these people are always in on a Monday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday lunchtime. But we never see them at the weekends. Yeah. Do you know what this is our weekend of? Because they're already your customer. They've already bought into your stuff, and it's just making them aware sometimes of. So it's like you guys, we say we build your website, but we also do X, Y, Z, and it's just those conversations.
Yeah, you're right, and it's about brand reputation. If you've already captured a person because they like your brand, they like your customer service, they like the products you serve or the products that you create, they're so much easier to convince than somebody who's completely new or to upsell to, because you've already convinced them that everything you do is quality and that you offer a good service. It's much easier to get another 10% out of them than to start from scratch, converting a new client from scratch, which is also important, don't get me wrong. But actually I think a lot of people miss that opportunity. I was actually talking to somebody about that this morning, about actually leveraging and really maximising on your existing customers because they already like you.
Yeah, and we're the same. We're always looking at that called flip side. The number of customers we have where we do maybe the broadband, but don't. They have you phone them and go, look, just say, we also do mobile. Do you? Do you do mobiles? Flip.
Yeah.
I've been looking, or it's exactly the same idea. You've got that, which is the trusted relationship, and just leveraging it a bit more.
Yeah, and building that brand awareness to say, look, actually, we do offer other things as well within, whether it be retail or hospitality or whatever it is. It is like we're the guys behind this as well, and because you're such a loyal customer here, we'd love to make an offer that you can try something new here. So I just think that data is so powerful, and I think mindset's changing. People are starting to see the value of data, but actually having, as you say, that amount of in-depth data, not just how many people visit your website, how many people come from a social media ad, that's all great and it's really important and useful. But to really maximise any marketing spend, which is very limited and tight in the current situation, being able to have that access to that data in front of you and being able to then personalise it, because I think even people are just how they buy, and the buying patterns are different now as well. People want a more personalised experience, and because of the experiences that they are getting, say digitally, when they go to a shopping cart and they leave something in it and they get a pop-up saying, get an extra 10% off, or will you visited last time you didn't buy. So they're getting those more personalised experiences online, and it's about replicating that in real life too, but without but that in customer service piece as well, that people feel that they're valued and that the business really knows them and knows what they want.
I think that's the big thing, is because the way this is all built, it's all very scalable. So it's not unaffordable for one coffee shop to have this. Up until now, this has been rolled out by McDonald's, Pizza Express, the big corporate groups and chains, Starbucks. It's the big ones. But actually, again, that's why we got involved with it, was because we saw the opportunity to make this affordable for one venue, but allow you to grow into 10 or 20. And the big thing is we're great at, when we're one venue, at that personal, it's like you said, that in-person bit, whereas the Costas of the world are great at taking that and making it ongoing, so it's always in the back of your head, whereas Michelle's coffee shop doesn't have that always on presence, so you're not always being reminded, whereas now you can. And it's allowing you to bring that personalised stuff into the digital world as well as the real life.
And I take it you can build
Ted dance on your Wi-Fi. That's it.
And I take it too, you can build up the data that you can pick and choose the data that you want, because I think
absolutely.
when you were starting out, especially as a small business, it's maybe not had something like this before. You wouldn't want people to be overwhelmed by just a massive amount of data, and then they don't know what to do with it.
Well, the other big thing as well is you can make it very simple. So if somebody signs in with Facebook, that's it. And they only have to sign in once, if you know what I mean. So you're not having to read it every time. But you can also do your own form, and you can nudge a little bit. So you get a little bit of information, because name, email, whatever it is, phone number, and that's grand. But then the next time you come in, you go, Michelle, and again, automated through the system. Michelle, when's your birthday? We'd love to do a free drink for your birthday. When's your birthday? Or something like that. Or and it's just building up more and more. And again, all automated, so it builds up more and more picture. And the big thing is, where some people get a wee bit wary sometimes, is this is all GDPR compliant, and we handle all of that GDPR compliance for you. So as GDPR rules change in the future, again, we handle that change. So you can never put new data into the system that hasn't been gathered through the system, because that's how we can make sure it's GDPR compliant. And if, say, for argument's sake, the UK go a different route from GDPR, they change, do something else different, and you have some sites north of the border, some sites south of the border, or some sites in whatever it is, again, all of that compliance is handled by us. So you know everything. You won't be able to do anything that you're not allowed to do. Yeah. If that makes sense to you, it proofs it all for you. And so you can be confident about that in terms of the way it's set up and it's all done right.
Yeah, no, I just think as a solution and a whole package, there's just so many different avenues and so many different aspects of it that you can use for different reasons and different purposes. And it's, I suppose, just getting that hold of that. And in terms of training or support, obviously you guys do the installation and everything, but you're able to support with that sort of advice as well.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we use you guys, as you know. So anybody who comes on with this platform, obviously we do the installation and the setup and all of that, so we carry on. But we also then bring in yourselves and do sessions with them in terms of understand. Because for a lot of people, it's kind of going, well,
what can I do?
I don't know what I want to do. Do you know what should I do with this? And it's bringing, and again, for us perspective, it's bringing in the professionals in each aspect. You know, so we know we do really, really well. And we also know that what we don't have the expertise in, but we have the people that do. So we could bring them in alongside and work with all that and handle it all. And we're your front line support for all of it. So, you know, we handle it just up and we do the escalation if we need to with the partner, rather than you getting the run around and doing all that. So yeah, we wrap it all up as a managed service. Basically.
Perfect. So they just phone you up, you come and install it, all done. Everything's perfect.
Well, yeah, and the process for a lot of people, to be honest, what I kept saying is just let's go through the portal.
Yeah.
It's the easiest way to understand it, because again, I said I've done it through my customers before and going, what about this? Okay, yeah. And I'm going, these are the great bits, these are the really good. And then we get to the very end and they go, oh, you can do that. And in my head, that's a really minor thing. And I go, that's exactly what I need. You know, and it's finding that one thing that works for everyone.
And that's what I was saying about that building up and dipping in and out. Like some people might say, look, do you know what? We just do Facebook ads. We don't do Google. We don't do anything else. We're not really interested in that. And it's actually being able to pick and choose what works for you and your business. And you might start with something small and say, right, okay, I'll gather this data and I'm going to use it for this reason. And then as you get a bit more confidence, then, okay, maybe I could get this as well and try that. And
some people will bring it in just for the COVID stuff.
Yes.
You know, literally just going, right now, I just need that. That's amazing. And then they get into it and go, oh. And exactly as you said, you know, it's there and it's always there, it's always growing, and you can always find new bits. And again, that's where we work with the likes of yourselves, do you know what I mean? And helping people understand what they can do with this information and data and where you can go. So yeah.
All very exciting.
Yes.
So, Aaron, if someone wanted to avail of the services or even just get a bit more information, what's the best way to contact you?
Yeah, so just drop me an email. Probably the easiest way is aaron@b4bgroup.ie.
Brilliant.
Or I can tip my phone number up and stuff as well. You can give me a call, or obviously if they know you guys, go through yourselves. But yeah, it's just, look, we can either do, depending on how people feel comfortable or where they're based, we can do remotely. Just a quick half-hour session of a quick run through of some of the stuff. And what we'll do is we'll talk to you beforehand about the industry or the sector or the type of business that you have, and then we can show you live portal with anonymized data, so you can't see who, you know, you can't see anyone's information, but you can see what an actual business like yours is using this for currently and talk you through it.
And I think that's very powerful, actually being able to see it in context. I think works very, very well. So
and no hard sells. It's literally a case of, this is what it is this of interest to you? And it's not for everybody. There's no debate about it. Some businesses just go, I just don't want to get into that. But if anybody's thinking analytically, whether it be marketing or business operations, I'm confident they'll get one look at the portal and go, flip, I wish I had this. Exactly as I did myself. I wish I had this 10 years ago, whenever I was, you know.
Well, we're always innovating, we're always changing. Goodness knows what it'll be in 10 years when you'll be sitting here going, I wish I had that 10 years ago. But thank you so much for giving up your time today and coming in. Really, really exciting and great to see how businesses are pivoting and changing and new things that they're able to actually just implement straight away, especially with ever-changing situations. So thank you so much for giving us all that information, and people will be now, the cogs will be turning thinking, maybe I could do this, maybe I could do that.
I think that's one of the things that everyone's talked about, during all the nonsense we've had this year, and the chaos we've been trying to figure out and deal with this, is you could really see the businesses who have gone, and it's not, I understand, who've hunkered down, I just don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And there's help and support to go through this, and the other businesses who've gone, right, my business isn't working. It's not going to work going forward. I need to pivot, I need to innovate, I need to do something different. And it's great to have stuff that works for all of those, and help and seeing. I've seen some of our customers and what they've changed, how they've adapted and grown has been amazing. And there's some who've gone, at the start of this in March, we're going, I have no idea how I'm going to get through the next 2 months. And after a month, I've now gone in a different direction. I've now bigger, better, stronger than ever before. So it's great to see that.
No, and it is. And I think people continue to innovate. And I think it actually has accelerated businesses as well. People that maybe thought, I'll do that in 2 years' time, or it's on my 3-year roadmap, are now like, that's on my now roadmap, I have to get it done. So I do think it's accelerated people in their growth and innovation as well. So, but again, thank you so much for coming in. It is a pleasure as always. That's all from us today at Profile Tree TV. I really hope you enjoyed today's session, and we will see you all again soon.